That's when I thought, what if I build something that helps people find opportunities in places they can't even imagine and they're not aware of it?
Today's guest is Jasmine Sayyari. She is an exited founder, CEO of New Generation Network, and a 2025 Inspiring 50 UK winner. A former medical doctor, she moved into business development in 2020 and now builds in the startup space. She's currently founder of Chanci AI, a career platform that shows how job market ready you are with data-backed insights and uncovers hidden opportunities in the job market.
Was there a moment when you knew, hey, this isn't my career? Did you have insight at that time as to what you should do next?
So I had this choice of not doing it. I don't feel like I'm going to practice for the rest of my life. I need a change in my life. This is not for me. It was like, okay, a lot of things happening around AI and I have no background in AI. So I started learning prompt engineering from scratch. It was back then people were approaching me and asking how you did that, switching your career, how we can do the same thing. And at the time I was like, okay, maybe I can build something around that. How about I build something that AI really help people do the same thing I did? Traditional career path like LinkedIn, most of them just work based on what you search. How a candidate is supposed to search something that doesn't know it exists? As you said, 170 million new jobs will be in the market. What are these new jobs? How am I supposed to search that? So I believe we need to completely change how we show opportunities to candidates, and that's exactly what we are doing through Chanci AI.
How do you know when it's time to go on to the next thing? It sounds like you've left a legacy, but you're hungry for something else. You keep moving. So what is it that tells you it's time to move on to the next thing?
Good question. The answer is very complex. Always watch carefully what.
Before we jump into today's episode, I want to share something that's going to help you elevate your AI strategy. The 2025 AI Governance Benchmark Report from ModelOp investigates why enterprises struggle to scale AI innovation, provides a roadmap to overcome these challenges, and will show you how your AI governance practices compare with industry peers. It's free and only takes a second to download. The link is in the description. Don't miss out. Welcome to the Good Decisions Podcast, the podcast about the pivotal choices shaping careers, technologies, and the future of AI. I'm your host, Jay Combs. In each episode, we sit down with leaders who have faced complex challenges, founders who pivoted from one career to another, innovators preparing people for a future shaped by AI, and entrepreneurs who have had to choose between what's easy and what's right. We talk so much about the AI and the technology and the data for making decisions at enterprises, but we don't often talk about the people behind that who are actually making decisions. So that's what this podcast is about. It's about those people, how they make decisions, and the moments that got them to be the leaders in AI. Today's guest is Jasmine Sayyari, CEO and founder of the Next Generation Network and creator of Chanci AI, a platform for helping people understand and improve their job market readiness through data-driven insights. Jasmine's journey is remarkable. She began as a medical doctor in Iran, where she was on the front lines of the COVID crisis. She then pivoted to business development, moved to Turkey, and now lives in London, award-winning startups at the intersection of AI and the future of work. She's an Inspiring 50 UK 2025 winner, published commentator, and a passionate advocate for helping people thrive as technology transforms the job market. Welcome, Jasmine.
Oh, hello, Jay. Thank you for having me.
So great to have you today. Really appreciate the time. I know you're very busy. You were just at Parliament in London at a special conference. But before we get into that, I want to kind of go back to the start of your career. You studied medicine at the Shrewd University of Medical Sciences. How did you, start your career? Had you always wanted to be a doctor, or were you into technology? Like, what brought you to medicine?
Simple answer is I was a really good student in high school, a total nerd. I don't look like one anymore, but it was a destination of every nerd in high school. I go to medical school, and my mom is a dentist. My baba is an electrical engineer. So they were like, okay, you should become a doctor. It was a very typical Middle Eastern family. You are a doctor, engineer, or disappointment for the whole family. So I was like 17. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I moved to another city to study medicine. I had so much money to study medicine for 7 years. It was like that in Iran. It was 7 years straight from 18 to 25. And I feel like my frontal lobe shaped totally during middle school. So I still do things based on what I learned there. But it was my passion for helping people, but also I was conditioned by the family and society want me to become a doctor.
Yeah, I think that's pretty common. I mean, even here in the U.S., doctors, lawyers, it provides a very set career path. Often parents are there and people follow in that footsteps, in their footsteps, because it is a very prescribed path. But it sounds like your father was an electrical engineer. Was there a tech side, or did you have a tech itch or entrepreneurial itch before you got to school? And now that you kind of look back on it, was there something in your youth that says, hey, you know what, that was a precursor to me pivoting to tech and entrepreneurship?
Well, my Baba had his own ventures. My mom also had her own office. So growing up, I didn't know it was a term back then. There were entrepreneurs. And I had this dream of having my own business. But going to med school, I totally forgot about that. Then after graduation, I was like, oh, okay, there are things I can do now.
So you had about 2 years between graduating medical school, officially becoming a doctor, and then COVID hitting. What was your career like just during that brief span of, I guess, normalcy before the world changed and before you took a career change as well?
So I was a public health medical director. I was leading public health teams and I was also visiting patients. A very normal junior doctor. I'd hate to call it junior doctor because you literally do everything on your own. But then COVID happened and they called us for shifts and turned everything to COVID centers. And it was scary. So people keep their tattoos. I had this bundle of gray hair in front of my head. That's just it happened during COVID. It happened because of fear of death. Because every morning it was like, I'm going to die today. So whatever it takes. And in Iran, after graduation, especially from public school, it's a kind of a scholarship because you don't have to pay for a school. You have to practice 2 years in suburbs and poor neighborhoods. So the first 6 months of COVID was the last 6 months of those 2 years. So I had this choice of not doing it. I just totally leave everything and I stay home. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to do that for my people. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? But it was completely life changing, but also changed my perspective. And at the end of those 6 months, I was like, I don't feel like I'm going to practice for the rest of my life. And I need a change in my life. This is not for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably an entire lifetime in those 6 months, or an entire career that was compressed into those 6 months. Was there a moment when you knew, I guess maybe at the end of those 6 months, that like, kind of what triggered it to say, "Hey, this isn't my career"? And did you have insight at that time as to what you should do next? Like, what led you to Turkey? Like, why was that the next step? How did that come into your mind?
So it wasn't it didn't exactly happen like this. 2 months after my last day as a frontliner in a COVID center, I called a friend. I told her I have an idea. I was so unexpected. And she was like, okay, let's do it together. I was like, I'm not sure even if I can pay you. And she said it doesn't matter. And the friend I'm talking about is just totally online. Like I know her through my Instagram. And the idea was selling online services to people who need to learn research and new languages. So it was during COVID, and everything went online, but there wasn't enough resources for that. So I jumped on the opportunity and launched those services. And in a span of 1 year, we turned from 15 instructors to 100 people working globally with us. And we were selling services to 5,000 customers each year. It was a big jump, and I didn't expect that. So at that point, usually people ask me like, why you did that? I, as a joke, but also realistic, I say money. Because I didn't need to go to work anymore, work as a doctor. I was in my room, I was making money, and it was also hiring people. And it was a time my baba, and you can imagine their generation. It was like, you're on your phone all day. Do you want me to find a job for you? I was like, Baba, I'm paying people working for me. And still to this day, they are so confused about the kind of job I'm doing, because it's really, really hard to explain to them, like, what is this? What am I doing? Why everything is so online?
Yeah, I mean, that's the case I feel like with a lot of the, folks you're serving with Chanci AI coming into careers now, like all the tools that are out there with AI, the skill sets that are needed to use these tools, kind of change how people work, are going to be so foreign to folks who are maybe at the end of their careers right now. Not that older folks aren't going to be learning that those tools or can't, but when you grow up digitally native or AI native, it's such a different skill set, and there's certainly going to be generational challenges there. So really kind of interesting prelude to what you're doing at Chansey. But this first, I guess, foray into entrepreneurship from doctor to e-learning or putting research online, were you focused on getting research for doctors? Who were your customers there, and was it kind of like a natural progression from doctor to helping doctors?
But actually, what I did was using my follower base on my social media and turn them to customers. And it wasn't just doctors, it was everyone who were passionate about learning. So every time I've been blogging publicly since 2013, I was sharing my journey as a med student and then a graduate doctor. And then I was like, okay, we've been here together learning new things, but how about I give you a kind of service you never experienced before? And I know you need it because no one else is offering. And I know your pain points, and I know what kind of quality you want. And they were like, yeah, we trust you. That's why we expanded so fast, because it was like, I was also a customer in the market. I was also learning, and I knew that what is strong was the gap in the market, and I jump into it.
Got it. And so, yeah, who were your main customers with this service, and what was the name of this platform?
It was a partner group, my first startup, and customers were mostly millennials and now Gen Z. And they like to learn a new language or learn how to do research, but needed different kind of resources. They weren't available back then.
Got it. Got it. And so, how did you? So you created this research platform. You were based in Istanbul, Turkey. How did you go from running this research company to emigrating to London? And I guess maybe not leaving that research platform behind, but starting a whole new network, the next generation network in London.
What happened in between? I moved to Dubai from Tehran to Dubai. I didn't like that. I moved to Istanbul. I stayed there for 2 years, expanded my businesses, funded my second startup, and then third startup. It was the beginning of knowing how to manage people, how to run a startup, how to sell. So it was a journey of learning business, and it
So you're a
was like,
serial entrepreneur. It wasn't just the
yes,
Pardo Group. Like you had multiple
exactly.
companies in there. So
And
what happened with the Pardo Group? When did you end that,
I
or did you? Is
exited
it still
that.
going?
It is still
Oh,
working. I exited that
okay,
as a CEO, and it is
okay.
still working. And people who started with me are still running it, and it's still a pretty much trusted platform for learning till today, and we will stay we will stay forever, because that's my legacy. But through these projects, I met new people, and especially people with technical background. And when you are a non-technical CEO, it's really hard to find people with the right technical background. They also need to trust you as a leader, because many funders are like, I have an idea, so I'm looking for a technical CTO, and software engineers are mostly like, no, I'm not going to build this for you. But through years, I built this trust between me and other people with technical background. So when I decided to build Chanci AI, I knew I have customers and also I have team. It's just a matter of how I'm going to deliver it.
So you built up this network of co-founders, technical talent over a series of years, starting really during COVID, building off of Instagram to launching an education platform to a bunch of it sounds like several other startups. I don't know if there's any learnings that you had from those kind of in between startups between the Next Generation Network and Pardo Group, but it's fascinating. Like, how do you know when it's time to go on to the next thing? It sounds like you've left a legacy. It's not that these businesses have maybe not worked or fizzled out, but you're hungry for something else. You keep moving. So what is it that tells you it's time to move on to the next thing?
Always watch carefully what is happening economically and politically. I always watch that. And based on data out there, I decide when it's time to move. Because when you're living in a country, you should always follow what's happening in economics. And then based on that, I predict my next move. And I love to be part of a bigger thing always. So when I was in Turkey, I was making money, I was happy, I had a big team, but I was like, this is not enough for me. I need to do something else in another country. And I moved to London to start my master's. And then at the end of that degree, I was like, okay, a lot of things happening around AI. And I know I have no background in AI. I know I have no background in technology. So I started learning prompt engineering from scratch. And it was back then people are approaching me asking how you did that, like switching your career, how we can do the same thing. And it was the time I was like, okay, maybe I can build something around that, because AI is everywhere. And how about I build something that AI really help people do the same thing I did, and it was successful.
So, I mean, I get the sense that you're extremely curious person. I mean, switching from two very like medicine, or at least practicing medicine, seems so different than kind of the entrepreneurial space. Is there a decision framework? Or are there a set of values that you hold like very closely that help you make those decisions, right? Because you're not just changing career paths or starting up new ideas, but you've changed cultures in countries, which adds a layer of complexity and challenge, which I think could be a benefit when you're starting in a new market, right? Like serving, maybe an underserved group. So, what is that framework that you use? Like, you chose Turkey, and it sounds like Dubai, and then or Dubai, then Turkey, and then London. What core values or framework did you use to make those decisions, other than just AI's? It's obviously a groundbreaking transformational technology, but what else is there behind this decision?
I love business, and I wasn't aware of it because in med school it was so canalized and very in the box that like you should do a certain kind of thing. And then out of med school, I was like, okay, after 7 years, finally I can breathe, and I found my passion in business. But the one thing about business is like there is always a room to progress. Like you can always get bigger, get better. And I call myself a troublemaker, and I love to challenge myself. So it comes from the way I like to live. So some people are like, "Oh, okay, now we prefer to go somewhere quiet." And it's just, I'm a city girl. I love to live in a big city, and I love this nosy lifestyle and challenge myself through it.
Yeah. And how, when you moved to London, did you have the idea for your new generation network already percolating or in place? Or did you have the idea for Chanci AI at that point in time? Or was there another approach? Was it more organic when you got there?
So I was in the parliament yesterday and answered the exact same question one of MPs asked me. So it was 2023. I moved to London to start my master's at Kingston University. And it was after nearly like 3 years working as CEO of my own startups, which had actually gone really well. Just to give you context, at the time, I saw the master's as a real level up for my career, but also I realized you don't need a degree to start something you love in even in a completely different industry. So turned out lots of people were curious about how I did that. So I had so many come up to me asking, "How did you switch? And can I do the same thing?" And that's when I thought, like, what if I build something that helps people find opportunities in places they can't even imagine, and they're not aware of it? So I already had a team of technical experts and customer base who trusted me. And finally, immediately they jumped on my wait list. 9,000 people on wait list even before launching MVP. So I started doing proper
Amazing.
research. Exactly. It's even surprised me, even shocked me. Uh, at some point, I was like, okay, how am I going to onboard these people? I don't have resources to do that. It's supposed to be like 100 people. What are you doing here? So then I started doing proper research. I was like, oh, okay, the future of work is about to change drastically. And in the next 5 years, we are going to lose 92 million jobs because of AI advancement. It's in World Economic Forum report. And millions of people are going to need to reskill and upskill and move into completely new careers. And that was when I knew I had to stop building this. And just 2 weeks ago, after 4 months of really hard work, we launched our MVP and events live.
Yeah, and this that number that you're talking about, you came across a study that's saying even though there's going to be what I think you said 92 million jobs lost to AI, and that might just be certain jobs going away, but also 170 million jobs will be created. And it's that kind of change, like any new technology, the industrial revolution, digital revolution, and now the AI component. There's that career switch, that upskilling that needs to happen, which a lot of times folks, historically have been left behind by that. So was there, when you were doing your research, were there pieces of feedback that folks gave to you, like, I want these skills, or I'm concerned about this? Maybe was there one, I don't know, piece of feedback or comment from your research that said, hey, like, this is why I need to create Chansey?
Oh, yeah, exactly. So I talked to many college students, and to be honest, I always say this: a college student's dream job probably won't even exist the time they graduate. That's the reality with AI evolving so fast. So it creates a lot of confusion around the future of work, and everyone are panicked and confused. And but we rely heavily on traditional career platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed at the moment for that. But they already failed us because most of them just work based on what you search. How a candidate supposed to search something that doesn't know it exists? Because yeah, you
Yeah.
said 170 million new jobs will be in the market. Like, where are these new jobs? How am I supposed to search that? So I believe we need to completely change how we show opportunities to candidates, and say that's exactly what we are doing through Chanci AI. So we give users uh, an employability score. It's like a credit score, but it tells you how job market ready you are, and the score is based on real time competition in the market, but it's calculated using a rating system that updates constantly. But it's not just that. The powerful part is like it's not just one number, it's across 20 industries, but also candidates get opportunities they can apply in each industry. And it's like unlocking hundreds of hidden opportunities in job market. So you graduated from, I don't know, engineering school. There is job for you in agriculture, but you're not aware of it. In the aviation industry, and you're not aware of it. We're going to show those opportunities to you and positions you can apply directly through the platform.
So is there actually almost a job board within the platform as well? And where are you getting all these latest kind of future jobs? How are you pulling them into the system? How do you even know about them?
There are resources like you can get access to them through their IP. You can buy those IPs, or also companies can post with you and get. So both ways you can use this data and find it available. For some of them available for free, some of them you need to buy them. So it's very important to at this stage to raise money to get access to more IPs.
That's really interesting. So are you working kind of both sides of the market as well, like working with companies and governments and,
Yeah.
saying, hey, we want to make sure that we're aware of what's coming and we can actually help inform,
Yes.
the labor force on to how to direct them.
It's
So you have
exactly.
a
It's
dual
like
market.
we are. Yeah, exactly. We are watching the whole scene. Like there will be shift, and you can watch it and say like this in this space we need more workforce, and in this space like we don't need them anymore. And you should help people like in the future. Upskilling and reskilling is much more important than finding opportunities. It's also what we offer through the platform. So it's not just employability score. We designed a system that help candidates increase their score with a personalized progress plan. So we generate a unique progress plan for each industry based on their score and unique background. And the data shows more than just giving people opportunities. It matters for the future of work, actually helping them reskill and upskill. So it's not about just showing them what opportunities they can apply. It's helping them to improve their score and be more job market ready.
That's really cool. And did you tap or did you note the through line to your first startup on the research platform of sharing research and data? Obviously, the experience is there. It seems like, hey, you're plugging that right into your new system as well.
More than technical side, it was the business side and leadership side from my first startup. I didn't know anything about business, Jay. I was so basic and so traditionally doctor. I didn't know something exists named Google Sheet. Like that. I
Yeah.
was that basic. And it just surprises me. When I look back, I'm like, how did I even make money? I didn't know anything. But it was about the people I chose to surround myself with. So there were people I could trust, and I was also was open to learn new things.
Yeah.
So that those things saved me, but I also learned how to lead people in uncertainty. And it was from first startup because it was during COVID. Like what else you can get from COVID? Learning how to lead in uncertainty. And it saved
Yeah.
me. It helped me with other startups too.
Yeah. I mean, is that the number one? Like, so in tech, people can take themselves very, very seriously, but a lot of the times it's not life and death. You came from a world where it was life and death. Was there a lesson from COVID that helps you every day just kind of level set where you at, stay calm, or prioritize your work for the day? What's the biggest lesson you took away from being a doctor that you apply to entrepreneurship?
I learned how to work with people I have zero common background with them, career wise, and still be able to deliver the results with them. Because in medicine, you learn how to listen and you do it properly. This is the first lesson, doctor. Listen to people and just go through detail. And I'm a good listener when it comes to leading a team. I listen to my team members. That saved me a lot of time and money.
So it's so important listening to the market, especially in a network business or a platform like Chansey. And you kind of mentioned you've learned like so much at each stage. You came from a medical background, so you're just constantly learning the
Yes.
business side of things. One of the challenges with AI, especially in the UK and in Europe, there is the EU AI Act, and when you have an education platform, I know that AI as applied to careers and work it can
Yes.
be classified as a high risk system.
Mhm.
How are you, I guess, maybe addressing some of those regulations as you're building out a new system from scratch? How do you think about the regulations and how do you make sure that the users are protected?
Oh, yes. Well, actually, I believe we should always protect humans and advance AI in their favor. Just talking about the corporates is like more on the individual side. First and foremost thing, and most important thing is data, how we protect it and keep it secure. And second, upskilling and reskilling people should be part of every step as we develop our platform. And that's why I see what I'm building stays fair for both companies and also candidates.
Yeah. And throughout your career, I think you've helped underserved markets, underserved segments of folks. Very, I think, women focused in some of your endeavors, promoting that. How do you ensure that bias and some of the other metrics within your AI system are fair, responsible? How do you guys approach that?
Good question. The answer is very complex. It's the way you restore data and the way you show it to companies. Because we are the responsible party in between of showing those data to companies and then also showing them who is the top talent, but then removing all of the bias. So is the first step removing names, the gender. It's a lot of secrets in between, but we are still working on it, and we try to stay fair between using help of other parties to check us. And the one thing about UK, they're very considerate about this, and you can always find someone to help you going through this. It's a lot of barriers as a company, but I guess I can understand why we are doing it, and somehow I'm proud of UK for doing considering this kind of stuff when it comes to data.
Yeah, the trust the system is so important. Do your customers ask about those kind of questions? Like, how do we, trust the AI? Do they have questions about it, or is it so natural to them at this point because there's so many tools out there? This is just a natural progression. So just curious, like, what kind of questions you get at trust versus just the ease of use for folks.
Yes, good question. Because I get all sorts of questions regarding what is going to happen with AI. So many people are scared. They ask me like, "What about my job?" I had a girl approaching me, and she was like, "My husband is a radiology resident, and is he going to lose his job because of AI?" And most of questions are like that, rather than how you're going to use my data. But job market is so messed up at this point. People usually ask, "Can you help us find a job?" rather than, "Please don't show our data to companies. These kind of things mostly coming from regulations and government rather than people. But people are more concerned like, are you showing me to all companies, or you are just showing your preferred candidates? And it's like, no, you get the same chance, and you can hide your score from companies. You can also show them your score and show them you're progressing. So these are the kind of questions I get mostly, but not many people are concerned about their data. Personally, I am, but when it comes to finding a
Exactly.
job, they're more like, "What can you do to find a
No,
job?"
I mean,
I'm like, absolutely yes.
it's such a good point. I mean, same with, myself being in the AI world with enterprise, and we think so much about the repercussions of trust, governance, compliance with rules and regulations, that you can sometimes forget about the macro picture of people of, what do I do with my life? How does this affect my career? What should I study? What are my kids going to do in the future? Like, those are some bigger questions than some of the micro elements that are, again, extremely important. But it's nice to have that kind of sanity check sometimes too, of making sure we see the forest from the trees. Um, so yeah, really interesting insight there. And you've made a lot of, I would say, like, risky changes to your life in general, like, that have paid off really well, right? Like, you seem to have a really fulfilling journey, and you're helping a lot of people with your platform. But as you look back, was there a decision or a jump or change that you made that, in hindsight, you would do differently now, or a decision that, given everything you've learned, you would have made differently?
Well, actually, if it's a kind of question, if you get back to talk to your youngest self, the answer is just, you are doing amazing, sweetie. Go ahead. but but it's a kind of question like, what could I what could I change in the past? Actually, nothing. One thing, I was obsessed with the idea of going to America, and nothing against it, but the past just wasn't for me. And I'm honestly so glad I moved to UK instead, because a series of political events and personal experience later made me realize coming here was actually the best thing that could have happened. And moving to UK took my career to a whole new level. I couldn't even imagine. So it was the obsession, and when I look back, it was like unnecessary.
I mean, it's interesting, as I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and folks who've been in AI or tech for a long time,
Most
they're
entrepreneurs
very
the opposite opinion, I guess. They love you, eh?
no, it's very forward looking, right? Like, it's, hey, you know what? Like, you work with the information that you have, like, you have a vision, but very forward looking, and not backwards looking, which I think is a critical skill set when you're making businesses, bringing people together, employing people. It's, yeah, you can play Monday morning quarterback or second guess yourself later and reflect and learn. But I think that the key thing that I've heard you say is just keep looking forward, and it keeps that optimism going. And so the last question I have is, what sort of personal tradition do you have, or whether it's a go to drink, cocktail, or I don't know, ritual that you have when you celebrate a big win or a difficult decision? What's your go to ritual?
I usually go for a cocktail, and I would say it's a cosmopolitan. It's a cosmopolitan because it makes sense because I'm a huge Sex and the City fan, especially Carrie Bradshaw. But I actually never made it at home. It's always been a drink I go out for with friends, and there is a rooftop bar in Wimbledon, 61 Queens Road, and that serves the absolute like best version called Twisted Cosmo. It's really hard to find it in London. I don't know why. It's impossible to
All right.
find it. It's so hard. So I have to go to Wimbledon for that. But maybe I should start learning how to make it at home.
There you go. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. Great to hear. And thank you so much for your time and for the lessons on making good decisions that you've shared with us today. And have a great rest of your week and hope to stay in touch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me here, and hope you are having a good day too.
Thanks so much. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.